G'day, Straya. How are you going? How you going? Are you right? You should be. Why is that, Jim? Well, it's Monday, June 23, and the NBA season is over. That's right. I'm your host, James Clemens, here in Larry Armour Studios, and the Oklahoma City Thunder, boo, are your NBA champs for season 2024-25. What a Game 7 that kind of was. We're going to recap it for you on today's show. It was absolute chaos. Haliburton goes down, blows his Achilles. It sucks. But then the Thunder, I don't know, look a little bit squirrely there for a second, and then boom. We turn around, the Thunder win the 25 NBA title. ALEX DUCAS is an NBA champion. Kevin Durant is a Houston Rocket. That trade happened this morning. What are we doing here in the NBA as well? Like, we've got to have like a moratorium around finals games when the NBA's like, oh, geez, how about we have our biggest trade of the year go just before Game 7? You idiots. Seriously. 24 hours before a game in the NBA Finals, you can't make a trade. It's not really hard to sort of make this happen. Anyway, we'll talk about that a little bit later. We are going to do the NBA Straya game wrap of Game 7. We've got That's Not an iPhone, Mate, No Mate, Spud of the Night, Better Than Lonzo Ball. We'll do the Magic Tweet of the Weekend. We've got some Yenars. We've got some unpopular opinions of the day. We've got Outback Takehouse, where we're serving up a flame grilled take. There is a very obvious Andrew Gaze Graham Mamba Award for outstanding achievement in the field of excellence. The Aussie Player Watch, JOHNNY FURPHY did get out there in Game 7. And then there's no more games. So we'll talk about the odds for next season's title. And with this Haliburton injury, it just got very interesting. So we'll talk all that out at the very end. But we have got a lot to get into. So let's bloody well do it. Episode 1293 of NBA Straya. Let's go!
This is Josh Giddey.
G'day, this is Andrew Gaze.
This is Jack White.
This is Joe Ingles.
This is Dyson Daniels.
This is Chris Anstey.
This is Matthew Delvedova.
This is Shane Hill.
You're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
You're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening and watching NBA Straya.
This is NBA Australia. Let's do it.
Watch out for the shark attack.
You better watch out for the injury attack. Jeez, how much did that suck? Oh, the entire air went out of the game, went out of the stadium, went out of the internet. Anyway, poor Tyrese Haliburton. We'll talk about that in a second. Let's start today's show the way we start every show here at NBA Show with the daily whip around. You should also watch out for the attack of trade news breaking mere hours before a Game 7 of the NBA fucking Finals. What are we doing here? Adam Silver, take fucking control of your league. What are you doing? Not only are we about to have a draft where every fucking pick doesn't actually belong to the team that ought to be picking it or using it. It's just fucking stupid. It's everything's swapped. It's been swapped. It's over here now. It's over there. It's fucked. And meanwhile, so how about we have Kevin Durant traded just before Game 7? Bro, Game 7 is his own thing. There was so much hype about that game. It delivered. It was chaos. The drama, the suspense, the intrigue, the terrifying dramatic lows, the dizzying highs of the Thunder winning. And we get a fucking Kevin Durant trade 4 hours before. It's so stupid. Hey, anyway, Kevin Durant's on the Houston Rockets now. What happened, Jim? Well, before we wrap up the finals and everything, the KD trade did finally happen. We did say that it happened before the draft. It should have just happened tomorrow. What are we doing? Anyway, KD gets traded from Phoenix to Houston in exchange for Jalen Green. Makes sense. I mean, sure. Dylan Brooks and the number 10 pick in this year's draft, as well as 5 second-rounders. Now, some of these are better than others. One of those second-rounders is the number 59 pick in this year's draft. So the second last pick. There's 2 in 2026, 1 in 2030, and 1 in 2032. So this trade is going to go down basically after the start of the new league year, so all the mechanics of it work. It is a fascinating trade and one that we'll probably talk out a little bit more on Wednesday's show. We'll do a pre-draft show on Wednesday. But so much of this trade is fascinating for the simple fact of how the dollars work in getting one player out, in case of Phoenix, and getting a raft of players and money back in for the Suns, where on the face of it, they actually add more money under the second apron, which makes no fucking sense. But once it all actually goes down, it all actually evens out. So it's very, very interesting. Houston gets the end of clock offensive killer that they so desperately needed this year. They still have flexibility because all they did was give up a pick from this year, which was hilariously enough, Phoenix's own this year. And then they still have all these other picks coming down to the Rockets, so they can still make more moves. They've still got Reed Shepherd. And I kind of just love the trade for Houston. Like, they weren't probably going to play the number 10 pick from this year's draft, right? Dylan Brooks, fine. Fare thee well, sir. And Jalen Green, I talked about him time and time again on this here program. Wow. You want inconsistency? There you go. Thy name be Jalen Green. Absolute Steve Francis 2.0 vibe sometimes. Other times, looks like a world beater. Chaos. Like Phoenix, though, they've still got moves to make, it feels like, because they've got about 87 shooting guards and nothing else on that roster. Brad Beal, is he going to get bought out with that max contract? He's still got the no trade clause, which is hilarious. Who knows? But it feels like the right move for both. So we'll break that all down more on Wednesday. But for the minute, we'll do another year Nara about as well. But I kind of like it. Good job for KD. Good job by Houston. Right, what does all that mean? What does it all matter? It's all about winning the bloody title, isn't it? And that's what happened today. The Oklahoma City Thunder win the 2025 NBA title in the NBA Finals. Game 7. Game wrap. What a chaotic game this was. We'll just do some broad strokes. I don't want to get into the nitty-gritty. This game was absolute chaos from the get-go, wasn't it? So Oklahoma City close out the series, win the title 103-91. It was a really, really, really fascinating, hypey start. The place looked absolutely off chops. Those Thunder fans, look, I'm wearing my Seattle Sonics t-shirt. I'm wearing a hat. This is the Thunder's first NBA title. Let's never get that fucking twisted. The Seattle one from 79 still belongs to the Seattle fucking Supersonics, which last time I checked is not the Oklahoma City Thunder. Blow it out your ass. Thing is, it starts off really super hypey. It's absolute chaos, super solid start for Indiana, right? Like, they're just feeling pretty good. SGA hits a couple of shots. Haliburton hits a couple of threes. Absolutely nuts. Caruso comes in, smokes a three. Comes in, smokes another three. Nembhard hits a couple of free throws. Haliburton's hit a third three and then is driving 7 minutes into the game and blows a tire. And oh fucking God. You can see it pop in the slow-mo, and Jesus fucking Christ. I don't know how many times we need to have that replayed, but they definitely replayed it way fucking more than we needed. Like, that was insane, right? Absolutely insane. Anyway, Haliburton's calf, you can see it just pop and roll up, and you're like, that's an Achilles. Like, he's just slapping the floor. He's in tears. It's fucked. He's carried off. Can't put any weight on it. And, OKC got the turnover as Haliburton was driving. He, loses the ball because he's blown his fucking Achilles. And they score off that. It's 18-16. And you're like, okay, Haliburton will not return in this game. We understand this. It's just absolute horrifying shades of Kevin Durant back in 2019, where he comes into a game with with a calf problem, tries to play through it, blows an Achilles. It's staggering just how similar that situation was. And as it was unfolding, everybody was just fucking sad, felt sick to their stomach. It was just a bunch of bullshit. It felt fucking horrible. I felt horrible for Haliburton, felt horrible for the Pacers fans, felt horrible for his teammates. It was just fucked. And then the other thing is all right, well, how the fuck did they win this game? The answer was by nutting up, gritting down. 4.5 minutes left in the first quarter. Siakam gets an and one after Caruso misses the next three. And you're like, here we go. They're right here. Siakam needs to take this game by the scruff of the neck. They've got no one who can really guard him, except for sort of just pushing him off his spots and also just, stopping him from getting the ball. And as they sort of cruise through this first and second quarter, like OKC just wasn't making Indy pay too much for some of these fuck-ups. Mathurin was causing a little bit of havoc. He was like either turning the ball over or like getting to the line. It was a really strange Benny Mathurin game. And then you sort of see TJ McConnell come out and like instantly the Thunder are like, hey, let's just ruin his shit. Let's just really just fuck him up. And after the first quarter, like Caruso had hit a couple of threes. Mathurin had hit like 2 points, right? So off the entire bench in the first quarter, he had 6 points for Caruso, 2 for Mathurin, and that was it. And then the second quarter gets very, very interesting, right? Hartenstein misses a couple of free throws. Caruso gets a dunk. Mathurin hits a 3. But mostly, the impressive thing for Indy in this second quarter was that they just stuck with them. Like, none of the OKC starters had hit a 3 for a really, really large portion of this game. Naismith hits one because as OKC are going small, Miles Turner is like, this is great. I'm going to get offensive rebounds, tip outs and shit. And that was kind of it, right? Indy's shooting were keeping them in it. And there was this incredible moment where, I don't know, Case and Wallace kept doing TJ McConnell shit, like stealing the inbounds or stealing rebounds when you're not looking. It's like, it's game 7, Pacers. You should know that this is going to happen either way. But it was a really, really good response, I thought, from Indy in that second quarter. They weren't rolling over because they got down like 37-32 after Wallace hits a 3. Turner misses free throws, right? And you're like, oh my fucking God, this could get really ugly really quickly. But it didn't. OKC kept missing threes. Dort finally hits one. But Chet keeps blocking shit. Siakam's blocking the shit out of SGA. There's misses everywhere. And then, look, OKC just kind of don't keep pushing because they're not hitting these threes in the second quarter. Indy rips off this 9-2 run. They're up by 5 with a minute and a half to go in the second quarter. You're like, hello? Then Hartenstein gets an and one. 40 seconds left. Another stupid offensive foul from Mathurin where Dort just goes flying as a bit of a flop. SGA draws another foul on Nembhard. Bullshit calls both of them. And then Nembhard amazingly finishes off the first half with a huge 3. It was awesome. So Indiana actually lead after the first half despite OKC having a 20-12 paint advantage, a 9-8 free throw advantage, a rebound advantage of 22-20, and a 9-5 turnover advantage. The biggest thing was the Pacers had double the amount of threes as Oklahoma City, 8-4. And you're like, ooh, if the Pacers can just hit some fucking threes and keep their noses in front, this is going to be fascinating. And spoiler alert, they couldn't. Oh, it was so fucking brutal. So the way that you win this game, right, without Tyrese Haliburton, the driving aspect of your offense, the man who's going to get you out in transition, is you're just going to have to shoot the piss out of it and try to beat this Oklahoma City defense somehow. And they just couldn't. And the third quarter was like a slow rolling avalanche, right? Got to this point where you're like, Siakam hits a 3 at the start of the third. You're like, oh, look out. Here we go. Mathurin turns the ball over because of course he does. That's just what he does. They're looking scrambled and rushed, though, the Pacers, right? It was 56-51. And in the first 3 minutes of the second half, the Pacers attempted 4 shots. The Thunder made 4 shots. And you're like, Jesus. Ugh. And I think at this point, you also had like 10 more field goal attempts for the Thunder. And you're like, oh, that'd be the turnovers. So Turner hits a 3, though. Miles Turner hits a 3. Ties it back up. It's 56-56. And SGA answers straight away with another 3. But that Turner 3 marks a turning point for the Indiana Pacers, doesn't it? Because you have this moment where that was the last time an Indiana Pacer, not named TJ McConnell, scored any points until 12 minutes later in the game. So we're in the fourth quarter when somebody else actually scores for the Pacers that isn't TJ McConnell. Like, it was absolutely chaotic because there's this moment where, talk about slow rolling avalanche, SJ hits a 3, there's a McConnell turnover, he's just hounded by Dort. Turner ruins a 3-on-1, but then Chet nails a 3 off that. And you're like, Jesus Christ, TJ throws it away, J-Dub rolls into 3, and you're like, this is the exact turning point of Game 7 of the NBA Finals. Because you have an SGA step back 3, an Indy turnover. SGA kicks it out to Chet for a 3. Indy turn it back over. SGA kicks out to J-Dub for a 3. It's just huge. It's a 9-0 run. They go bang. Suddenly OKC's hitting 3s, and you're like, oh, that's not good. And the other thing that wasn't good, God bless TJ McConnell's little cotton socks. But he can't be your only offensive weapon in a Game 7 of the NBA Finals. What are you doing, Pacers? They sat Siakam for 5 minutes in this third quarter. Just me going, all right, cool. That means I guess he'll play the entire back half of the third quarter and all of the fourth quarter because there's no fucking Game 8, right? You got to empty the clip. The big problem was the TJ McConnell stuff was okay. It keeps ticking over on the offense, but they also just kept fucking giving OKC the ball. So SGA just working over Nembhard. Toppin keeps turning the ball over. He had an absolute nightmare of a game. You have this easy TJ in the paint shot, and they're just staying with them, right? It's 69-64. SGA starts grifting. Nembhard's missing jumpers. Toppin has another fucking turnover. It's 6 turnovers to 0 at this point in the third quarter. Case and Wallace cans a 3. Wallace gets a really awesome layup after TJ McConnell turns it over again. So that's 7 turnovers for Indy at that point. TJ picks up the ball and they just went, aha, blood in the water. It's like a bunch of fucking piranhas. Toppin finally gets a call, but it's not a shooting foul. Thomas Bryant comes straight on, launches a 3, misses that. And you're like, oh God. Indy get a 5-second violation on an inbounds. It's their 8th turnover, right? And OKC are just threatening to go bang. They need something from anybody who's not TJ McConnell, and they just don't get it. Nembhard can't hit these shots. Chet is a defensive force in the paint. And out on the perimeter, you got fucking Nembhard and Caruso. Anytime someone tries to bounce the ball, they're like, fuck you, check this out. TJ McConnell hits another jumper. He's got 12 straight at that point. And the turnovers, I think at that point, had gotten to 27 points off 15 Indy turnovers. It was brutal. TJ keeps missing shots. Hartenstein gets a tip in off an SGA miss, and it's a 13-point change around where I think they're up 13, right? 81-68 at the end of the third. TJ McConnell was the only pacer to score for the final 8.5 minutes for Indy. It was brutal, and that's how you lose a Game 7. Siakam comes on. Every time he gets the ball, they just fucking go, hang on a second. You're the only dude who might try to create your own shot. So OKC just fucking go chaos at him. And there was an 18-0 point scored off turnovers deficit for Indy against OKC in the third quarter. It was crazy. So it ends up being a 34-20 third quarter. And OKC at this point of the game had 15 more field goal attempts because of the turnovers. It was just... If you could script this out for OKC, it's exactly how to go. And then the fourth quarter, it just goes like that, right? Wiggins goes short on a 3. We have Benny Mathurin kind of slowly dragging them back into it, but absolutely nothing was going right for Indy. They got a Naismith blocked 3. Then Siakam ends up with the ball, throws it high, and then they still can't get the scramble for the ball then. They're down 16 at that point. They get down 18 after that from a Wallace layup. Chet blocks Naismith. J-Dub hits a 3. It's a 21-point game in the fourth quarter, and you're like, oh, shit. 8-0 start to the fourth quarter for OKC. 42-20 since halftime at that point, right? It was the 10th turnover in the second half for Indy at this point after a moving screen gets called on them. Indy just can't get rebounds. Chet gets fouled by Turner. It's a 22-point deficit. Siakam finally hits a shot. It's their first points in the fourth quarter, and the first by a pacer not named TJ McConnell since 8:32 left in the third quarter. 13 minutes of game time. It was crazy. It gets fouled on the next trip. Gets it down to a 19-point game. SGA misses. Here we go. Mathurin throws it to himself off the backboard. Gets fouled. And this is interesting because he keeps scoring but stopping the clock. Great defense by Indy. They get a steal. Mathurin fouled again. It's a 7-0 run. Dort gets fouled. It's one of them. Mathurin fouled again. 5:43 left. 2-2 at the free throw line. It's a 14-point game. But Indy just can't get these fucking rebounds. There's OKC misses, and then boom, they just can't get into the guts of it and get on these nice big runs. It's a 12-point game with 4:45 to go. It's an 11-1 run. SGA starts actually, getting out there and grifting again. TJ goes at Chet. He gets blocked. And you're like, ugh, that was such a big, big moment. There's like a bigger moment. Like they get a block the other way. Mathurin gets fouled at the other end. It's a 12-point game. They nearly get a 5-second violation on OKC. They use their last timeout and they're already in the bonus and there's 4 minutes 11 left. The problem was no one on Indy without Haliburton is attacking the paint. No one's like trying to get fouled and it's just a bit of a mess, right? Mathurin jumps on the loose ball. TJ screws up with the ball, gets stripped by Dort after the SGA miss, and that was the exact moment, right? They're down 12. They could have made it down to like 9 points with like 3 minutes left. Chet gets fouled instead. It's a 13-point guard. Nembhard hits a 3, gets it back to 10, but then Chet leaks out the other way. Mathurin goes up the other way, and basically they just go into a stalemate. Down 10, and then we get into the foul game, right? Like SGA gets fouled. Naismith is fouled out. J-Dub gets fouled as well. They're up 13. Nembhard just gives up the ball at one point. You're like, oh, that is it. And that's how it went. They just roll it out there down the stretch, and their defense just gave them the clamps. They started hitting shots, and the Oklahoma City Thunder your NBA champions. And so much of this game was just indicative of what happened in this series overall, right? OKC's defense just gave them the clamps, forces a fuck ton of turnovers, and that's how you lose the game. They had 22 turnovers in Game 7. They lose that game to Indy. They had 23 turnovers in Game 5, which they lost. They had 16 in Game 4, which they lost in horrifying fashion when they could have gone up 3-1, but blew it down the stretch and got outscored 12-1 in the last 3 minutes 20. Also, even OKC had 19 turnovers in Game 3 when they blew that chance, right? But 15 turnovers as well for Game 2 in Indy. So if you think about the losses for the Pacers in this series, what's that? 15, 16, 23, and 20. You're averaging, 18 turnovers in these losses. And that's exactly how you lose a 7-game series. Because it just sort of seems like OKC's defense is good enough that they're going to rock up. You got to beat them 4 times in 7 games. If you're going to turn over the ball on that, like at an average of that rate, like, yeah, you fucked it. Siakam got taken out of the offense in this game as well, and there was just zero offense otherwise, apart from TJ McConnell. Obviously, as I said, it was like a 42-20 run to open the second half, and that really fucked them up. So the Pacers, 22 turnovers, 45 rebounds. They end up going 11-28 from 3, and that's probably not enough three-point attempts. And this is like the trade-off that you have of TJ McConnell going, hey, boys, I'll take over. And it's like, yeah, but that's good, TJ. But when you're interspersing your little awesome layups, which are worth 2 points, you're interspersing those with turnovers and OKC hitting threes, we're getting a bit fucked over here. So 28 three-point attempts, it was probably not enough. That was their only way they could probably balance that out without having Haliburton there, was like having Naismith hit like 3 or 4 threes. Obi Toppin, who was an absolute fucking disaster, hitting like 2 threes, something like that, right? Mathurin was solid down the stretch and getting the free throw line time after time after time. But with like Siakam going completely fucking MIA in the second half, they just had no chance. Miles Turner just didn't play again. It was a pretty useless 24 minutes. I think, Haliburton had the 9 points to start off the game, right? So he has 7 minutes before he gets hurt, goes 3 or 4 from deep, and looked like he was like, holy shit, boys, we could win this, and then goes out with a blown Achilles. It was fucking horrible. It sucked. Made all the more devastating because he looked pretty fucking on. Like, here we go. We're stepping up in OKC. He's hit 3 threes in the first. Anyway, Siakam goes for 16 points on 5 of 13 shooting. When your fucking super duper star goes out, Siakam's taking 13 fucking shots in a Game 7. What are we doing here? I understand that it was like hard for him to get in there and hard work every time. Like they were forcing the ball elsewhere. But at the same time, he's a hard cover for OKC. And yes, when Haliburton's not taking a bunch of like the attention, it makes it a lot harder for Siakam to work into his spots, even against a smaller defender. And OKC just did a really fucking good job of denying the ball to him, right? So he only has 2 assists. He only has 4 rebounds. Like he just did not get involved in the game whatsoever, which was really fucking disappointing. 4 or 7 at the free throw line as well. Turner, a pretty useless 24 minutes. Defensively, he had some interesting moments, but otherwise it was a bit shit. 6 points, 4 rebounds for him. Only 2 of 4 shooting, 1 of 3 from downtown, 1 of 4 at the free throw line. Brutal. Naismith fouls out in his 30 minutes. I thought he did a pretty good job of at least just making SGA work. Because SGA didn't shoot the fucking lights out in this game by any stretch of the imagination, mostly because of Nembhard and Naismith sort of switching around, causing all sorts of havoc. Naismith like doing a pretty good job on J. Will as well. or J-Dub as well. We just fucking Jalen Williams, whatever. The other one didn't play. So every time I say Jalen Williams, it was the other one, right? And Naismith ends up 1 of 5, 1 of 3 from deep. 2 steals, 2 blocks, but yeesh, just not quite there. 15, 5 and 6 for Nembhard. 2 turnovers. He was a -9 in his 37 minutes. And it just needed a little bit more from him, right? 4 of 10 shooting, 2 of 3 from deep. If you think about the Eastern Conference Finals last year where he just went off for 2 games without Haliburton there, you're sort of thinking, ooh, Nembhard, Andy, where are you, mate? Toppin had a horrible game. Absolutely fucking horrific. Car crash sort of game for Obi Toppin. Ain't no stopping Obi Toppin unless it's a high leverage pressure situation on the road. Then you're stopping him. 20 minutes, a -15, 0 of 4 from the floor, 3 turnovers. Brutal. Mathurin had an absolute Quatzer game as well. So what do I mean by that? First he giveth, then he taketh away. 24 points, 13 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, 10 of 10 at the free throw line. So much of that came down the stretch. And it's like, Benny, where was this in the third quarter? You kill us. TJ McConnell, 16 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, a steal and a block, 7 turnovers. His limitations and his greatness were all in this one game, right? Just the turnovers are brutal. Every time he picked up his dribble, it's like, oh, don't. He's picked up his dribble, and Dort's just like, give me that. Shepard played 16 minutes, did fuck all. 0 of 1 from downtown. As I said, Thomas Bryant came on, caused 0 havoc, took a shot, and then fucked off again. Tony Bradley played his 5 minutes. He had 2 points and 1 rebound, went 2 of 2 at the line. But being a man down in this rotation, to be honest, it kind of goes the way you expect because you're almost riding high if you're the Pacers off the adrenaline of the start of the game. You lose Haliburton, you're all locked in. And then it's sort of just the energy just got sapped in the third quarter when no one could make a bucket and OKC just fucking pounced. Pounced, I told you. The Thunder... How do you win a game 7, Jim? Well, here's one. You only have 7 turnovers. That's a good fucking start. And that was the big thing, I think, for the Indy. Like, we understand that the Oklahoma City defense is next level, absolutely insane gear. But Indy has to understand that as well, right? They knew that. That's how they won game 6. Their defense was really good, and they didn't fucking turn the ball over. Guess what happened today? They turned the ball over. They lose the game. OKC's starters ended up making 7 threes, which is pretty good, considering I think early they'd made fuck all. They go 7 of 30 to the starters, 11 of 40 from downtown overall. So the Pacers do win the 3-point percentage battle. So what's that, 27% to 39%. But the 11 of 28 for the Pacers, you basically need to see them shoot like 5 or 6 more, maybe even a few more. Either way. 40 rebounds, 20 assists for OKC. They feel pretty good about that. They did some pretty good work on the O boards. And the field goal attempts, because of the turnover differential, 87 attempts from the floor for the Oklahoma City Thunder to 70. Now, I'm no math magician, but if you take 17 more shots than the opposition in a game of basketball in a game 7, you're probably going to win it. So SGA finishes the game with 29 points, 12 assists, 5 rebounds, and a single turnover. He shot 8 of 27. Go B! 2 of 12 from downtown and wins the Finals MVP, of course. 11 of 12 at the free throw line. His defense was fantastic. Because what did he end up with? Like 2 blocks and a steal. Not bad. J-Dub has a 24 and 4. Really, really solid game from him. He shot 7 of 20 and 2 of 7 from deep, but hit some really fucking big shots in that third quarter just to keep it ticking over and just to keep Indy on their back foot. Chet was awesome. 18 and 8. I mentioned this the other day. Like Chet and Caruso were the 2 dudes I was like looking at. Can they sort of have like these big moments? Chet, I was just like not entirely sold on. Holy moly, did he deliver. 5 blocks. It felt like 50. Ends up 6 of 8 from the floor. Shot the piss out of it. Was great. Dort hits a couple of threes. 9.7 rebounds, 3 steals. Hartenstein, hello. He's got the asleep kid on his shoulder at the end of the game. That was pretty good. 7, 9, and 4 in 18 minutes. His passing made a big difference. He's rebounding, especially the O boards. He had 3 offensive rebounds in that 9 too, so not bad. Caruso, huge early, 10 points, 3 rebounds, 3 steals, bloody good. Cason Wallace, 10 points and 3 steals as well with a couple of boards. They were the only bench players for Oklahoma City to actually score. They get 20 points between those two. Wiggins goes 0 for 1. Kenrick Williams goes 0 for 1. And this is it. Like, India are down a man. OKC's bench does enough, and their stars did enough, right? Their big three, SGA, J-Dub, and Chet. What's that, 29, 20, and 18 between them? Perfect mix. Love that. Didn't turn the ball over. The defense clamped everybody else, ruined Indy's shit, and the Thunder win the series 4-3. Let's do an NBA Australia approved performance of the night.
That's not a knife. That's a knife.
Probably the bloke who won Finals MVP, isn't it, Jim? Yes. So SGA just became the 9th player in NBA history to win MVP and Finals MVP in the same season, and just the 4th player all time to win MVP, Finals MVP, and lead the league in scoring. Not bloody bad. 29, 12, and 5 with 1 turnover, a couple of blocks, and a steal. As I mentioned, shot like shit. 8 of 27 and 2 of 12 from deep. Nembhard and Naismith, I thought, did a pretty good job of just like making him just a little bit more uncomfortable. But he was so fucking good. He still got to the line, 11 to 12 from the floor, and it didn't matter. His usage rate was like through the roof, and he crushed it. So, not bloody bad. First player in 25 years to win the regular season MVP, the scoring total, and Finals MVP in the same year. Averaged 30.3 points, 5.6 assists, 4.6 rebounds, 1.9 steals, and 1.6 blocks. That right there is an Finals MVP level production. At one point, before he turned it over in the fourth quarter, he had the 25, 12, and 5 at this point with 0 turnovers. There's one other single NBA player in history to have that in a finals game, and it was Magic in 1987. 25, 10, and 5 with 0 turnovers. SJ just misses because he has the 1 turnover, but god damn, he was good. That was so fucking good. What a great game. 29 points, 12 assists, 5 rebounds, 1 turnover. And just think about the games where OKC just weren't that good. What did Indy do? They basically just shut down everybody else. SGA had fuck all assists, wasn't creating too much, and their offense just got bogged down, stagnant, and gross. And today, it didn't. They managed to top 100 points in a Game 7. It barely fucking happens in the NBA Finals. That was huge. SGA, your Finals MVP, crushed it, did a great job, and was even also like berating Hartenstein about how he was holding the asleep kid. It's like, you go look after that baby's neck, man. Come on. That's a Finals MVP right there. Who is Spud of the night, Jim?
Spud, 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 it is Spud of the night.
You're breaking my heart, Obi Toppin, because there ain't no stopping Obi Toppin unless it's a big moment and you just shit the bed. 0 points, 3 turnovers, 0 of 4 shooting, 20 minutes of absolute futility in a game that they desperately needed anybody, to have just a couple of shots made that wasn't fucking TJ McConnell or Benny Mathurin, right? It was crazy how bad he was. He has 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 3 turnovers, 2 fouls, a minus 13 in his 21 minutes. Obi Toppin, that one hurt. I believed he'd been really good. And then absolutely laid a fucking massive egg today. He's our Spud of the night. Who's old mate no mates though, Jim?
Old mate, no mates. Old mate, no mates.
Old mate, no mates.
Old mate, no mates.
Old mate, no mates.
Old mate, no mates.
Who's got no mates today? Well, Stephen A. Smith getting cut off like halfway through, like making a point. The producer of the ESPN halftime show was the real MVP today, because what the hell was that?
What was that? What the hell was that?
I don't know how much more of this I can take.
Don't know how much more of this I can take.
So he's like mid yelling about OKC or some shit, and they just like go to a commercial. It's like, boy, it's a bit of an old mate, no mates. And obviously Skip Bayless, what a fucking moron. That bloke's out there going, oh yeah, see how the Pacers have like really built this up. So like when Tyrese Haliburton, who never shows up in big moments, like he's got an inbuilt excuse because of an injury. And then he blows his Achilles and Skip looks like a fucking asshole. And everybody called him out. So sucked in, Skip, you big piece of shit. What a horrible fucking thing to be saying anyway. Yeah, Tyrese Haliburton, definitely not known for clutch situations and rocking up in big moments. What the fuck are you talking about, you old dipshit? That's all he's done this entire playoff run. What a fucking moron. And then somehow, basically was like, oh, he's got to use his injury as an excuse. and the poor fucker blows his Achilles. Absolutely brutal. So blow it out your ass, Skip Bayless. He's also Dickhead of the Week.
Dickhead of the Week!
Like, I just don't get that. It's like, yeah, they've set it up really nicely because he's injured for him to not show up and have a good game. It's like, yes, Skip, because he's fucking injured. What are you on about? And then the poor fucker blows his Achilles and you look like an even more of a dickhead. So, yeah, Skip Bayless is our Dickhead of the Weekend. Who was the pantsing of the night, though? Oh, this one hurts. Chet, every time he blocked TJ McConnell, Naismith, Nemhut, whatever, it's like you're getting blocked by an ent, right? You know, one of those motherfuckers from Lord of the Rings. Bang! It's like, Jesus Christ, what the fuck just happened? TJ McConnell, like, on 3 different occasions, like, oh, I've got him, and then would, like, either turn the ball over or get it blocked. It was horrible. Chet pantsed the vast majority of the Indiana Pacers in this game. Like, you had SGA blocking a Naismith 3, and as I've said time and time in this series, I don't think we've ever seen more blocked 3-point shots than what OKC have done in these finals. But the way that Chet would just swallow up some of these shots, it was fucking absurd sometimes. They actually really did a great job of highlighting it on the broadcast one of the times. It's like pointing out how he keeps his balance while contesting with his arm in the air. And as the shot goes up, he almost has like still the ability to keep his balance and jump up and still block it despite basically being overbalanced, but he's actually not. It was fucking fascinating. So he pantsed everybody on that Pacers team because they do not win this game without Chet having the defensive game he had. He was an absolute fucking stalwart. Very much appreciated it. And finally, who was better than Benny Simmons, Bronny James, and Lonzo Ball?
Lonzo was the best player in high school. He was the best player in college. You think he'll get to the pros and be like, I made it to the pros, now I can be average. He's coming for everybody.
Coming for everybody. Look, I don't want to shit on TJ McConnell too much because holy crap was he amazing. Ends up with 7 turnovers, but at the same time, he was the only dude who did fucking anything and emptied the clip in that game, right? 16 points on 8 of 13 shooting. Absolutely awesome. There's probably a couple of no calls in there as well. He doesn't go to the free throw line once, which was fucking amazing. I think I tweeted out at one point some of the shit that SGA was getting called for versus what was happening to Indy on the other end. Look, it wasn't decided by the refs, obviously, but it was also a bit fucking piss weak. But anyway, 16, 6, and 3 with 1 steal and 1 block. TJ McConnell absolutely emptied the clip. Better than Lonzo Ball, better than Bronny James, better than Ben Simmons. Showed so much fucking heart, grit, and determination. Indy Dally all the way. Bloody good. And I guess the other one's probably going to be Alex Caruso, but we're going to talk about him again later. All right, finally, it's everyone's favorite, the Magic tweet of the week. I'm looking forward to watching Game 7 between the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Indiana Pacers all the way from Europe and seeing who will be crowned the NBA Finals champions. Thanks, Magic. And he's in Europe, and he hasn't tweeted after the win, so he hasn't actually congratulated them yet. Because the last one we've got is 2-time NBA champion and future Hall of Famer Kevin Durant being traded to Houston will make Rockets one of the favorites in West next season. Thanks, Magic. We're just missing out on the now. Make Rockets one of the favorites in West next season. Anyway. All right, let's do some yeah-nahs right after this.
This is Cam Glidden.
This is Anthony Drimmick.
This is Mitch McCarron.
This is Jason Kadee.
This is Darryl McDonald.
Hey guys, this is Hugh Greenwood.
Yo, what's going on? This is Illy.
This is Mark Worthington, or commonly known as Wortho, and you're listening to NBA Australia.
You're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening to NBA
And you're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening to NBA Australia.
You're listening to NBA Australia.
All right, let's do it. Got some good yeah-nahs here, so let's have a look. Scotty Baxter. Don't know how I feel about this one. 5 second-round picks feels like a packet of chips, but number 10 this year could be something. Talking about the Houston Durant trade. Yeah, look, I think it's real. The 5 second-rounders, as it's sort of like become a little bit more apparent with this CBA, right? The second rounders are basically really, really good, cheap swings at adding talent and sort of hoping for the best that maybe one of them will turn out all right, because you don't get a guaranteed contract as a second rounder. You don't have like the rookie scale that's built into the contracts that you can get. So basically it's just a really, really cheap way of filling up the end of your bench with potential. And it's probably pretty smart, I guess. But overall, getting number 10 back in the draft, getting Jalen Green, so which is, a bit of a free swing on a talented, shooting guard. The big problem is you've already got, Devin Booker at that exact position, and you've got Dylan Brooks, and you got Grayson Allen, and you just keep on adding like this, and Brad Beal, of course. At some point, you go, well, I think maybe 6 shooting guards is too many shooting guards. Right? Maybe. It's fucked. But in terms of the return for KD, it felt like just time after time, when Toronto are taking Teenage Mutant Jakob Poeltl off the table, that's when you go, I think the market out there for a Durant trade might be a bit depressed. Fucking hell. But the thing is, to build on that one, Durant to the Rockets. Yeah, nah. Yes. I fucking love it for Houston. They get the dude. Look, as I said earlier, the number 10 pick from this year's draft wasn't going to play for Houston next year, or probably the year after anyway, knowing Ime Udoka, who didn't play Reed Shepherd, just as a young dude, because they've got lots of dudes on this roster, and they sort of coalesced it a little bit with Dylan Brooks and Jalen Green going out, KD coming in. It means you can play Eason and Amen together probably more. KD comes on as your late sort of, your scoring weapon when you need buckets. If you bring back Fred VanVleet at a decent price, you're fucking kind of laughing, right? And I don't mind this at all. So I kind of love it for Houston. In terms of Phoenix's return, it was always going to be a bit of a shit show. And I love that they were like, no, we want something commensurate to like what gave up to go get him. It's like, that's not going to happen, idiots. He's 37. Shut up. Stop fucking lying, because you're not going to get that. And to get a really good young talented player like Jalen Green is good. Dylan Brooks, fine. Number 10, gnarly. 5 second rounders, yeah. You'd probably want another first in there, but here we are. The thing is, already having Devin Booker and then Jalen Green, that just feels super fucky. So I don't know if Jalen Green goes somewhere else. Maybe you can send him to Brooklyn for number 8. I don't know. We'll probably talk about this more on Wednesday. But Phoenix, I think at least they got something back, and I think it's kind of okay. It's just a bit of a weird situation. Anyway, Game 7 stuff. The Achilles. Was that the Larry O'Brien from Hazard P? Yeah, nah. Yeah, it was, wasn't it? When Haliburton goes down, you're like, oh my God. Like, if Indy had have fought back and won that game, having lost their star 7 minutes into the first quarter of Game 7, it would have been one of the all-time greatest moments in sport. But that's also really fucking rare, because Oklahoma City is one of the great defenses we've ever fucking seen. So, yeah. And especially it felt like, as I kept yelling about, it just needed more Siakam. But because you don't have Haliburton running some of the stuff out there, it just makes it so much more difficult to free Siakam up, to get him like on his weird little back cuts, all the sort of stuff that he's usually doing just gets way fucking harder when like, OKC like head on a swivel. Oh no, who's going to beat us? TJ McConnell, Nemhard. Maybe we'll concentrate on like taking Siakam out a little bit more. And they did. They did a really good job. So the Achilles for Haliburton was the Larry O'Brien, because I feel like the way that he was playing, Indiana looked super fucking dangerous. They were still leading at the half. If you've still got Haliburton for all that game, who fucking knows? But yeah. Anyway, I am Matty S. This was in response to his the other day. MVP curse, Jim. Now it is broken after 10 years. The last person to actually win the MVP and win the NBA title was Steph Curry back in 2015. So we'd gone 10 straight seasons, essentially, without the MVP winning the title. Now that's broken. Pretty crazy. Caruso. Will he have a Hall of Fame case at some point? Yeah, nah. This is a great question, though. It's the perfect case because all he does is go into teams, cause havoc, and win titles. It's like him, KCP. Like, there is a very, very distinct lack of players in the NBA right now who have won multiple rings in the 2020s. It's incredible that Caruso is one of them. He's awesome. But is one of the big losers from this entire OKC run Josh Giddey? Yeah, nah. Well, nah, because he's about to make fucking $150 million. I think Josh is probably okay, you know? And I think we sort of talked about this time and time and time again. I don't know if OKC get to these heights without just sort of going, okay, SGA's team, go out and score 30 points a game, direct traffic, do your thing, but also having to share that with Josh Giddey. It was just always going to be a bit of a weird one. They kind of needed their own teams. Josh got his when he got to Chicago. Off we go. So, yeah, I don't think he's much of a loser. It'll probably sting a little bit, but that'll be, you know, soothed over to the tune of $150 million. Just saying. Hey, is the East wide open now for next year? Yeah, nah. Fucking yeah, it is. Because this is the thing about the Achilles injuries. Dame Lillard goes down. Wears 0. Jason Tatum wears 0. Blows an Achilles. And now, Tyrese Haliburton, guess what? Wears 0. Blew an Achilles. Was in the East. Is that weird as fuck, Jim? Yeah, nah. Fuck yes. Like, you should not go anywhere near the number 0 if you're playing in the NBA right now, right? Anyway, it is wide open, and like the big winners have just got to be sitting there going, oh, fuck, cool. Like Cleveland are just like stoked, right? Cleveland! Because they ran into like this Indiana buzzsaw in the second round, and I feel like people shitting on Cleveland for losing that series just very clearly didn't watch much of it because they lose like different players every single game to injury. Darius Rucker Judy Garland had a fuck toe that he's had to get surgery on. And they lose Donnie Mitchell for a game. Mobley's out. It was all fucky. It's a team that won 64 games. They're fucking good. So they're looking into next year going, shit, are we going to win 70 games? Hell yeah. And the other one is Orlando. They just made this Desmond Bane trade. They're like, wait a minute. Indy's got like a superstar out with an Achilles. Boston doesn't have Tatum with an Achilles. Dame on Milwaukee's out with an Achilles. Holy crap. The Knicks don't have a coach yet. This is massive. The other one is probably Detroit. So Cleveland, Orlando, Detroit are just sitting there going, oh, sick. That helps, right? As fucked as it is, like Indiana will still be really, really competitive because that's what they are. They've got backup point guards coming out the wazoo, but yeah, it certainly puts a bit of a fucking roof on their ceiling, if you know what I mean. Anyway, unpopular opinion of the day.
Now look at me, please. Look at me. Look at me. Look at me.
Fuck Clay Bennett forever and ever and ever. He's like the ultimate old mate, no mates, because fuck him. Absolute piece of shit. Taking my beloved Seattle Supersonics and moving them to the Oklahoma City bullshit area. Look, congrats on the Thunder fans. You got a title. It's awesome. You also stole a beloved fucking team that was bought by a fuckwit and moved because it got sold by another fuckwit and murdered basketball in Seattle, which still to this day fucking shits me up the wall because as I've sort of hit on during this playoff run, if this Oklahoma City Thunder team was quite simply just in Seattle as the Seattle Supersonics, I understand why Thunder fans fucking love this team because I would also love them to a terrifying degree. But instead, fuck Clay Bennett because there's just a hole in my heart where the Sonics should be. And it fucking sucks because there's just no Sonics there to like replace it. And I was never going to go for this Thunder team. I could just never do it. It's fucking brutal. It's shithouse. Fuck them. But I can still see why the Thunder fans are stoked. But this is also just your first title. You are not taking the 79 Seattle Sonics title. Simple as that. Gary Payton doesn't want his jersey in the rafters in Oklahoma fucking City. You know what I'm saying? Nor does Sean Kemp, so piss off. The other unpopular opinion of the day is parity is pretty good. But at the same time, It's pretty wild. So Adam Silver's been in charge of the NBA for 12 years. This is the 9th different champion that he's crowned. Seriously. It's 7 straight different in 7 straight years. David Stern, in 30 years, only crowned 8 different teams as NBA champs. Adam Silver's already done 9. That's crazy. Parody's good, but come on. Can we get a couple of repeat finalists so we can get a bit of drama? That leads us into the Oklahoma City Thunder, a bit of Outback Takehouse. It's Monday at Outback, and you know what that means? Oh yeah, Jim's had a few too many tins over his birthday weekend and is in need of a bit of a hangover cure. And you know what it is? It's a bloody wombat smoothie. That's right. You just mince those fuckers up. It's got a bit of a nice taste to it. It's very weird, but just like really, really get into a smoothie, boom, you're laughing. Wombat smoothies, only at Outback. Goes great when you throw some blueberries in there, bit of bush tucker, and away you go. Today's Flame Grill take is the Oklahoma City Thunder are the 91 Bulls, and they're going to win 3 straight. Mark my words. Seriously, they actually joined the, the 96 and 97 Bulls as the only teams to win 84 games in a season and win the title. Because remember when the Warriors won 1,000,000 games, 87 I think total games, and didn't win the title, which is pretty funny. So the Thunder have absolutely zero excuses to not win 3 in a row at this point. They've got picks 15, 24, and 44 in the draft this year. Every player who is on this roster right now is under contract for next year. They could have 4 more first next year from the Sixers, the Jazz, OKC, Houston, the Clippers, as that all shakes out. SGA is 27. J-Dub's 24. Chet's 23. You know what? That's what they just won 68 games. I think the 91 Bulls went 61 and 21. But the age profile of the 91 Bulls versus the 25 Thunder is terrifyingly similar. I'm just saying, because MJ, when they won that one in 91, his first title, same as SGA, 27. Scottie Pippen was only in his 3rd season. Same as Chet, J-Dub and stuff. Boom. 3rd season, 25 years old. Same with Horace Grant, I think, was in his 3rd season as well, which is pretty nuts. You've got BJ Armstrong, young point guard. He was in his 2nd year. I think you had a rookie, Scott Williams. You had Will Perdue, who's like, you're big. He was only around there it was only his 2nd year. Stacey King was only in his 2nd year. So you had basically this really young, up-and-coming roster with they've got, Bill Cartwright as the Hartenstein combination here. He was a 10-year vet, but still. This was a young, hungry team that finally gets over the hump, beats the Lakers, wins their first title, and then goes on to stomp on their way to a 3-peat, right? So I'm just saying, OKC, the 91 Bulls, it's hilarious how the MJ, Scottie Pippen, Horace Grant, in terms of at least these Thunder's age profiles are, right? Or at least experience profiles, if that makes sense. Because SJ being 20, he's 26 at the moment, I think, but is about to turn 27. J-Dub is 23. Dort's 25. Hartenstein's 26, which is pretty crazy. But Chet is only 22. So you got your top 3 players, all with only a couple of years experience. SGA at the top, same as MJ with 6 years plus. It just matches up in a terrifyingly hilarious way. So I'm just saying, OKC are your 91 Bulls. Check it out. All right, Australian Player Watch. ALEX DUCAS is your latest NBA Aussie champion. That's right, the 9th Aussie to get an NBA ring. Unfortunately, didn't play in the playoffs because he's a 2-way player, and that's how those contracts are structured. But still, wins an NBA title. Gets to show the champagne. He's out there just throwing the champagne around. Love that for him. JOHNNY FURPHY also actually did get out there today in Game 7. He played 1 minute. He was a +4. Basically, those last 30 seconds he got out there for. Did actually get out there throughout the rest of the actual finals. Did play a little bit. Be interesting to see how he goes next year. But the cool thing is, when we start doing all the draft coverage on Wednesday's show, we've got 4 Aussies who were very, very, very just fucking bang on to be drafted. So pretty exciting times. So So hopefully we'll just keep fleshing out the Australian Player Watch next year. It'll be absolutely fucking chockers. Right. How about a bit of an Andrew Goes Great Mamba Award for outstanding achievement in the field of excellence?
Andrew Gay's Grey Mamba.
Outstanding achievement here.
All right, let's do it. SGA. So as I said, he's 26 years old. He's won the title. He won the MVP. He won Finals MVP. He won Conference Finals MVP. He's won the scoring title this year. He's already a 3-time All-NBA first-teamer. He's a 3-time All-Star. Only 4 players have won MVP, the scoring title, and Finals MVP in the same season. It was Kareem, MJ, and Shaq. Not bloody bad, right? So, that's basically the perfect NBA season that SGA's just had. The perfect season. All-Star, scoring title, unanimous first-teamer. He also got all defense votes. MVP, the most wins in the fucking entire league, so they're the best record. Wins the Western Conference Finals MVP, wins the title, and wins Finals MVP. It's the perfect season! SGA just had, he conquered the game. He's just had the perfect fucking season. You literally can't do better. So, not bloody bad. Unless he won all, like, the fucking Defensive Player of the Year. Boom. That's it. Absolutely legendary gear. And I mean, he's a Hall of Famer. Like, you can't have a season like that and not make the Hall of Fame. Awesome gear by him. Absolute weapon. A Canadian Finals MVP. Here we are. There was a great stat, I think. It's like, if you had told someone in 1994 we'd have a Canadian Finals MVP and scoring champ before another Canadian team won the Stanley Cup, you'd be laughed at. But here we are. Good job, SGA. So I just wanted to put that in like a little bit of context. That is an insane season. MVP, scoring title, NBA title, Kareem, MJ, Shaq, and now SGA. Bloody good. All right, Paddy Mills Game Day Baller Game Day Twitter check-in. Let's have a look. What's Paddy been up to? Paddy. Oh, yeah, we had a Paddy update just the other day, didn't we? Oh, congrats to the guys from Josh Giddey. That's bloody nice, isn't it? On you, Josh. It's a nice dude out there. Now, Paddy did have a update. There we go. One new post. Spending the summer with Straight the Label. There we go. Just doing a bit of modelling. Is our man Paddy. Love that. Paddy, come on the show. Right, we've got no more game previews. What's that, Jim? Oh, because there's no more fucking games left in the season. It's all done. So, let's have a look very briefly. We'll do obviously all the draft stuff on Wednesday's show. There's lots of odds and stuff, but it obviously does feel like the top 2 picks are sort of locked away with obviously Cooper Flagg number 1 and number 2 being Dylan Harper. But the odds for the Dylan Harper one are pretty interesting to me because it does sort of feel like the Spurs, even if they are reckoning they're sort of locked in on that, who knows what could happen. But the weird one is going to be where Ace Bailey falls. We'll talk about this all on Wednesday because number 3 is like VJ Edgecombe now and just who knows what's going to happen. But lots of moving parts there. Anyway, but the 2026 NBA title odds, let's do a quick season preview, Inadvertent Bane. Season odds preview. Thanks, Inadvertent Bane. Not a problem, Jim. How was your birthday weekend? Fucking pretty good. Apart from the footy on Saturday, Jesus. I'm there with my old man, there with the squid, the older squid. He's just fucking wiped because he's actually at home today as well. Home sick. He's just sort of been sitting on the couch being a bit fucking sad. And but anyway, we're at the footy on Saturday. Then we go to the American barbecue after that. I'm stoked. And of course, Carlton were fucking horrible. Get their heads kicked in by North. Jesus Christ. That was a bit shit. But then, hung out, just deleted some meat and went bowling. Even on this fucked Achilles, basically like walking up and just like rolling it down. Had a great night. Problem was, I ended up with a horrifying hangover because we ended up at some fucking pool hall in the back streets of Fitzroy, like hidden up fucking 4 sets of stairs and shit. And they don't have a liquor license, so luckily a mate of mine had a flask of vodka. So I'm just sitting there fucking drinking vodka and lemonades, and it's just like, oh God. Don't know if my body was ready for that. It was pretty brutal. But good weekend. Awesome hotel and shit like that. Old mate and I sort of crashed out and Got to sleep in. It was fucking good. So, yeah, here we are. End of the season. Talking about 2026. So, who's your favorite next year? Oklahoma City at $3.20. It's pretty bloody good, isn't it? $3.20. Cleveland. That's right. Cleveland. All right, $8.20. Sorry, $8.50. Houston at $9. New York is $9. Orlando is at $12. Boston and the Lakers both at $13. I don't know what the fuck the Celtics are doing at $13. But at the same time, I mean, who knows? Can they jump up a level sans Tatum? Maybe. Minnesota at 15, same as Denver. The Clippers at 21. The Spurs at 23. The Warriors and Philly at 26. Dallas at 36. And the poor Indiana Pacers down to 41. That is brutal. I guess the weird part is, like, you think about the teams in the East that'll actually have a bit of a crack. It is Cleveland. It is Orlando. The Knicks are a fair, like, at $9. I'm not entirely convinced they should be above Orlando, considering the Knicks don't have a coach yet. But, I mean, the Sixers at 26, do they have a puncher's chance of, like, getting through some of those teams? Probably not. I don't know. It's like a sort of weird situation as we head towards this draft, like, where we've seen Orlando just fucking go a little bit all in and go get Desmond Bane. They've got to be laughing now. Cleveland are just going to be like, sick. We're going to just, keep our powder dry and just try to win fucking 70 games next year in this East. I'm fascinated to see if, like, Chicago or Miami or Toronto, like those sort of teams or Atlanta, like those teams in the middle, take a bigger swing and just sort of see if they can't pry away some other sort of middling-ish kind of star to help them win a crap ton of games next year. Detroit maybe as well, the same sort of vibe. The problem is, it's like, who else is out there that's available? Like Zion. Probably not Jar and Triple J there in Memphis anymore. All the guys in Portland are pretty young. Sacramento is just a weird fucking mess. So yeah, it's kind of weird as to who's out there and available that could actually make much of a difference. Don't know. Just don't know. But you never know. Oklahoma City, though, at $3.20. How could you not? How could you not? I mean, Boston felt pretty bloody good until Tatum blew his Achilles this year. But they also just, the way that they got absolutely worked by the Knicks, it's going to be pretty worrying, Houston with KD, $9. Would you give them a puncher's chance against Oklahoma City? Maybe. They got a year under their belt. The defense could, like, crank up a notch. Now you got an offensive weapon like that. Who knows? But it's all pretty good. But that's it. I reckon that'll do us for today. And, I mean, congratulations to the Oklahoma City Thunder. You're 2025 NBA champions. Can you believe that? Well, yes, because they're really fucking good and won 68 games. So, that's awesome. I'm still a bit pissy because, as a Seattle Supersonics fan, should have been my title, but here we are. Right, we'll be back on Wednesday, so no show tomorrow, but on Wednesday we'll do a big draft sort of setup. And on Thursday we'll do like a live stream of the draft as we sort of do every year, right? That'll be fun. Sitting there, smashing a couple of Bloody Marys, hanging out, causing all sorts of chaos. So make sure you're following NBA Straya on Twitter, Facey, IG, TikTok, and YouTube. We'll be live on Thursday for all of the draft stuff as well. We'll do some other video stuff too. Get around NFL Australia with myself and Gaz. Check us a rating review on your Apple Podcast, your Spotify, YouTube, whatever app you use on the Android phone. It really does help out if you can rate, review, star, especially at the end of the season, just to give it a nice little push. Because we're still going to be covering the draft, free agency, all that sort of shit before we get to the real actual off-season. So still got a bit of work to do. So make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you've reviewed it. Make sure you've started. All that good stuff. Big thanks always go to From Oslo for the intro and outro song They Rule. So to House Hats, Joshua Delarentis, Fascinated Gold Mines, Ramshackle Army, Iowa, Sex Jedi, Green, and Dozers. They're behind all the tunes you hear throughout the show. Smash them on Bandcamp, Apple Music, Spotify. How we listen and support your bands, do so. NBA Australia supports Australian bands. So should you. And that's it. The Oklahoma City Thunder are the 2025 NBA champions. Good on them. Well done. Kind of wish the Pacers had actually won it, but oh well, here we are. All right, we'll see you on Wednesday, you dickheads. This is NBA Australia saying, can't wait for the draft, and look after yourselves, would ya? Let it hustle! Oh, 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 oh. Oi, 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 how the fuck is? It's your old mate Deli over here, just swinging by for my last pop culture view, eh? And I got to tell you, I don't know like what you've been up to, whatever, but we moved house, all that sort of shit with the NBL moves and all that sort of stuff. Been watching the basketball. Just going like fucking hard. TJ McConnell reminds me of me. Love this. Pretty good, eh? But then otherwise, like just sort of catching up on a bunch of tally and shit. So like we watched a whole bunch of that new season of Andor on the Disneys. Like no spoilers or nothing, but it's pretty fucking good, isn't it? It's like, hey, geez, how fucked the politics, bro, even in Star Wars, man. It's fucked, mate. So, yeah, it's been really good. I've really enjoyed it. But, yeah, so I'll probably give that, like, Season 2 about 47 out of 10 Deli ones. Because it's been fucking sick as, like, even the misso's fully into it. She's like, this is fucking great, man. I'm like, yeah, so I'm like on the old dog and bone every time like we watch it with my old mate Plugger back home in Maryborough. And he fucking loves it too. We're just sort of talking it out. And yeah, so like I finally finished it and it's like fucking blew me away. So really enjoyed it. If you haven't watched it, what are you fucking doing, mate? Go check it out. All right, that'll do us then. Andor's pretty bloody good. Go watch it. All right, until next time, later fuckos. Deli out. G'day legends, your mate Jim from NBA Straya here. That's right, I'm doing a thing at the end of the show. In the business, we call it a thing at the end of the show, I guess. I don't know. Either way, all I'm just saying is just make sure you're rating, reviewing, starring, subscribing across all of the apps that you use for NBA Australia. Jump in the comments, give us a shout. We'll bang you in the air, nars. Any other questions? I'll have a crack. I've got nothing better to do, basically. Also, just ask any questions, tell me what you want to hear from the show, and sing out and let us know. And of course, if you want to help support the show, jump on the old dabble, use that code NBA Australia, click on the link that's in the show description or on the socials. It goes up whenever I do the morning vibes, etc. So if that's your thing, jump on there, use that code NBA Australia, and remember, look after yourselves, would you?